What's up, guys? I know it's been a hot minute since you guys have seen this lovely face, but I'm happy to report that I'm finally back. For anyone subscribed to my channel, you may have noticed that I was pretty absent from making movie reviews because I've been busy making school projects and all that stuff. And if any of you guys have watched those videos, thank you. That was a unique experience, to say the least. And for anyone who has ever been a long-time subscriber to my channel, you guys may have noticed that this isn't the usual setup that I'm used to in my videos. Now, here's the explanation. Right now, I'm in Cleveland. I'm in a hotel room, and I'm visiting family. And sorry for the piss-poor light in here. It's just, you know how hotels are. Now, for anyone who's been subscribed to my channel for a long time, you may have noticed that I kind of stopped making movie reviews, and there's a reason for that. To be honest with you guys, I personally just got bored making them. I just did not feel the need to make them anymore. I just decided to move on and just do something else. For a long time now also, I've been using Letterboxd, and honestly, it is so much fun to use, and it is an absolute blast. And if any of you guys follow me on Letterboxd, thank you. I love your support. But I decided to make this video because I actually miss making these type of videos because I actually had fun making these in the past, and I'm sure you guys probably miss me making these videos as well. So, here it is, my top 10 best movies of 2022. However, I have said this in the past before, and I'll say it again. This list is subjective. It's nothing serious. This is just for fun. These are my personal picks for my 10 favorite movies of the year. If there's any movies on this list you guys agree with, that's great. However, if there's any movies selected in my list that you guys personally disagree with, again, that is perfectly fine. As long as we can get along and respect our opinions, we're good. And if you want my full ranking of every movie that was released this year, you can go on my Letterboxd account right now and check out my ranking of every 2022 film ranked from best to worst. I'll put the link to my Letterboxd down in the description below. Alright, so starting the list at number 10, we have Glass Onion, the sequel to Knives Out. This is a really good milkshake, but anyway, so I really enjoyed the first Knives Out. I thought it was a really fun movie. I loved the cast. I thought the mystery was really creative and really well done, and it was a really, really entertaining movie. However, I personally thought Glass Onion was even better than the first Knives Out. As much as I really enjoyed the first Knives Out, I felt the twist in that movie was a little predictable and a little obvious. This one, however, I felt was more creative and less predictable. I thought the cast was wonderful. I thought the characters were incredibly memorable. I love Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. You can tell he has an absolute blast playing this character, and I can't wait to see what Rian Johnson cooks up next with Knives Out 3. Next up, we have Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which actually might be my favorite adaptation of this story, probably of all time, actually. I was honestly surprised by the amount of Pinocchio movies we had this year. First, we had the really weird Russian one that was a meme on TikTok, and then we had the god-awful live-action remake from Disney. And then we had Del Toro put his own spin on his classic story, and honestly, he pulled it off. The stop-motion animation in this film was absolutely beautiful, and honestly, you could take any of the scenes in this movie and hang them up in an art museum. That's how gorgeous this film was. The voice cast was fantastic too, and honestly, this might be a hot take, but I think I prefer Del Toro's Pinocchio over the Disney animation. And I like that one too, but honestly, in terms of which one was a more superior adaptation, I might pick Del Toro's, honestly. However, would I personally call it the best animated film of the year? Honestly, no. However, that distinction will go to a certain movie that I'll get to in just a little bit. Next up, we have The Northman, directed by Robert Eggers, and this film was wild. Robert Eggers is one of the best filmmakers in this current generation. I really liked The Witch. I loved The Lighthouse. I think it was my favorite film of that year, actually. And he still knocks it out of the park with The Northman. This film was incredible. If you go in the dictionary and look up the word epic, you will see a picture of this film right next to the definition. And The Northman just feels like a film that we just don't get anymore nowadays. Alexander Skarsgård gave one of the best performances of the entire year in this film. And honestly, it kind of scared me just by how strong he was in this film. He could honestly pick me up and rip me in half. Like, that is how scary he was in this film. The best way to sum up The Northman is basically R-rated Lion King. And if that sounds awesome, I think this film might be right up your alley. Coming in at number 7 is a film that has been in development for, I believe, over 10 years now. It was a film that I honestly never thought we were ever going to get. They had to wait for the right technology to make it, and honestly, I didn't think they would pull it off. But after more than 10 years, they finally released it, and they pulled it off. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, otherwise known as the best animated film of the year. Just from the way I described that, you guys probably thought I was going to say Avatar. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was freaking incredible. This film was... I can't even say how fantastic this film was. I actually rewatched the first Puss in Boots not that long ago, and honestly, it does not hold up when you watch it now. However, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is the exact opposite. It takes this franchise to the next level. I would argue, I think it's the best film in the Shrek franchise, probably since Shrek 2. The animation is incredible, and you can tell it took direct inspiration from Into the Spider-Verse, and I love this animation style. It's so creative. And speaking of Shrek, after seeing how Puss in Boots: The Last Wish ended, I am so excited to see what they do next with this franchise. In a year where Disney kind of struggled a bit with their animation, DreamWorks came completely out of nowhere and released this absolutely fantastic film. Coming in at number 6, we have The Fablemans, directed by Steven Spielberg. I thought it was excellent. It was really cool seeing Spielberg direct a movie that was based off of his own childhood. Across the board, I thought the entire cast was fantastic, particularly Paul Dano and Michelle Williams, who both played the parents in the film. The Fablemans is really a love letter to film and movies in general, and although that may sound a bit pandering and self-indulgent, it is honestly one of the most beautiful films of the year, and one that just about anyone can relate to. Coming in at number 5, it's probably the best action film of the year, and that's RRR. This film from India, a Dollywood film, came completely out of nowhere, and it took the whole world by storm, and everyone fell in love with it. And honestly, I did too. The action sequences in RRR are some of the most thrilling, exciting, and just off-the-wall action sequences to come out in a film in years. Even though RRR is a great action movie, it's also a really great, heartfelt film about friendship. If you guys have not seen RRR yet, I highly recommend it. It's streaming right now on Netflix, and it is 3 hours long, but it's worth it. Coming in at number 4, we have The Banshees of Inisherin. If I were to pick the funniest film of the year, it would probably have to be this one. This film, even though it was dark and morbid, it was absolutely hilarious. Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson were perfect in this film. They gave some of the best performances of the year, and they were a great pair together. Honestly, when I watched this film last night, as a matter of fact, I didn't think I would love it this much, and honestly, it completely took me by surprise. I absolutely love this film. If you guys have not seen The Banshees of Inisherin yet, it's streaming right now on HBO Max, and I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 3, we have The Batman, also known as the best superhero movie of the year. Not gonna lie, Marvel really struggled this year, with the exception of Wakanda Forever, which was actually a pretty good movie. But then they had Thor: Love and Thunder, which was... I don't want to talk about it. And leave it to DC to win this year with The Batman. This film was absolutely phenomenal. They could not have picked a better cast to play the characters in this film. I loved Robert Pattinson as Batman. I loved Paul Dano as the Riddler. He was absolutely terrifying. And honestly, he might be the best on-screen Riddler we've ever had. Sorry, Jim Carrey, but I think Dano takes the cake. And I love Colin Farrell as Penguin, who was completely unrecognizable. Like, that makeup was amazing. And I love Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. And although Michelle Pfeiffer is still my personal favorite Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz still knocked it out of the park. I cannot wait to see what Matt Reeves brings to the table next with the Batman 2. I want it now. I don't want to wait till 2025, Warner Brothers. I want it now. Coming in at number 2, we have Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was honestly almost my favorite film of the year. It was this close to being number 1. I cannot express how absolutely bonkers this film was, and it was also one of, if not, the funniest film of the year. Again, they could not have picked a better cast for this film. I loved Michelle Yeoh in this film, and she gave one of the best performances of the year, but to me, the standout was Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know what the heck she was doing in this film, but I absolutely loved it. It's kind of funny how A24 released the best multiverse movie this year, unlike Marvel. Alright guys, we finally made it to the finish line. My number 1 favorite film of the year. So this film has been in development for about 30 years. I watched the original a few years ago, and quite frankly, I wasn't that big of a fan of it. However, I watched the sequel, and it completely blew me away. I did not think I would love this film as much as I thought I would, and I saw this film, as a matter of fact, twice in theaters, and that is Top Gun Maverick. No other film this year left me more entertained and left me on the edge of my seat as much as Top Gun Maverick did. This film was absolutely freaking incredible. Seeing this film in theaters was honestly a next level experience. Leave it to Tom Cruise to be a part of one of the best theatrical experiences in film history. You want to know how much I love Top Gun Maverick? Honestly, I'd probably go as far as to say I think it's one of the best sequels ever made. That's how much I adored this film. And that is why I picked Top Gun Maverick as my favorite film of 2022. Thank you, Paramount. Thank you, Tom Cruise. Thank you, Joseph Kosinski, for making this absolutely incredible film. Alright guys, so that is it for my top 10 best movies of 2022 video. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you guys once again for supporting my channel and my content, and I hope to make even more videos again in the future. And as always, if you want to see more of my videos, just be sure to hit that subscribe button to subscribe for more great content.